Tagovailoa now reportedly planning to meet with neurologists earlier this week before making decisions about his football future. So here with his take, former NFL player and the author of a new book, Find a Way, Merril Hoge. Merril, good morning to you. I think I'll start very open with you. What do you think? I mean, there's a lot of guys that have opinions on Tua's future. You have a lot of personal experience with concussions. What do you think about Tua?
Well, first of all, I've lived this. The little difference in my experience in Chicago in '94 is I went in cardiac arrest, laid in intensive care for days, and was an absolute mess and had no treatment or rehab back then. So let's walk through the process. You said he's going to be meeting with neurologists, which is true. He'll go through what I call a lot of things that fall under the umbrella of care. So these are the things that they will look at. First of all, they'll do a lot of MRIs and scans. So if there was some permanent tissue damage right there, they wouldn't let him return to play. Then they'll evaluate and rehab and repair him in 3 areas: cognitive, visual, and stability. If he were to have any problems in any one of those areas and wasn't recovering from it, he wouldn't be allowed to return to play. And then the last one is he does have a history here, and he's been to a bunch of different doctors, so he'll be able to match his recovery to his past issues. And if that recovery is longer, that would be another reason that they wouldn't allow him to return to play. So just under the umbrella of care, that whole process that we're talking about, which is actually incredible today because you can really recover and repair from almost all types of injuries. Brain injuries and head trauma. Done properly, you're going to find out if he's able to return to play or not. Now, after all that information is done, let's say none of that comes up where a doctor says, oh, you got to retire. He can still opt out, and that might be a choice that he does consider based on his history.
Well, you mentioned his history, Merril. Here's a timeline of what concussions Tua has suffered. The final play of his college career at Alabama had a concussion and a back injury in 2022, cleared the concussion protocols. Then he had another concussion versus the Bengals in 22. The Players Association fired the consultant who cleared Tua to play, had another concussion. And that's why on Thursday night, when I saw this hit live, I knew a decent amount of his history with concussions. It just felt like, man, this could be too much. What do you, if you were Tua, and let's say you were cleared, would you go back on the field knowing what you know?
Well, I will say this, Pete, having been in that scenario with not all the information that he's going to have today, my experience. I remember my doctor, Dr. Maroon, had officially retired. And he's like, I'm not going to let you return to play. Well, then a couple months later, I started to feel really, really, really good. And I kept challenging him. I'm like, you think we overreacted here? I just feel so much better. And I don't drink, but I was at an event, a wine tasting event. And people were talking about legs on a glass. Okay, people know wine, they don't understand that. I didn't. And the guy goes, well, just have a sip of it. I had a little sip and I went blind. I literally lost my vision. And it was only for like 5 seconds, but to not be able to see and not know why I couldn't see. So I called him up and he's like, okay, that is why I don't want you to return to play. You still have vision problems. That hasn't repaired. That was probably affected with the trauma that I had. He goes, do you want permanent blindness? Then go back and play. And I was like, I'll never ask you again. So from a personal experience, I can't answer this. The best thing is for him to get completely recovered, go through this entire process, and then he'll be able to make, I think, the correct decision for himself. He'll know it internally. He'll know through the process and history that you just mentioned. All that history is going to help him make the proper decision for his long-term health.
Merril, I know you're not a neurologist. I'm not a neurologist, but you have more expertise on this than I do. Does the number, I've heard conflicting reports on this, does the number of concussions you have over your career, does that mean a lot in terms of your propensity to have them in the future? And by the way, can I just back that up with, I also saw a report, Sidney Crosby in the NHL had a ton of concussions early in his career. I heard a report, he went and saw somebody who fixed something in his neck, and he then came back and he's been concussion-free playing hockey since then. It's just such a mystery about all this seems a mystery.
Well, that's the way, honestly, everybody is a little different. All 3 of us could have, say 3 types of head traumas in 4 years. Okay. And all of us could be really different in how we repaired or recovered. You just mentioned, head trauma doesn't just happen up around the head. I mean, the one that ended my career was around the jaw. I mean, they were stitching my chin up, and that's when they realized that I wasn't responding to stuff. So they didn't even think about a concussion at the time. So, and when you mention the neck, there is all of that stuff has to be looked at and properly looked at. The positive thing about this whole thing, Tua's going to recover from what he's just experienced. With all the evidence that we just explained that they will walk through and he'll have that I didn't have, that he didn't have in '94. He's going to have all this information to use to make a decision. To move forward. But to answer your point, that's why everybody's so different. That's why proper care is important, from visual to cognitive to stability. Get those things evaluated properly, recovered properly before you return back to your activity.
Yeah. Well, Merril, you've been a leader on this. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Merril.
Good to see you.
Anytime. See you guys. Thank you, man.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.